How's it going, everybody? My name is JustJarrod. Welcome back to another Dreams video. It's been a while. I do apologize for that. And actually, it's been even more of a while since this video should have went up. So about a month ago, you might remember, I did a video where I was like, hey guys, what are your dreams ideas? Put them down in the comments, and then in a week or two, I'll make a video talking about all your ideas, or a lot of your ideas, and we'll just have, a cool conversation about dreams. Well, that was a month ago, and I still haven't made the video. Guess what? Here's that video. We are finally getting to it. I apologize. I don't know. Time gets away. I just forget. Things happen. So, here we are. I'm going to be running through those comments that you guys left, and we're going to be talking about some of them and actually interacting as far as what your guys' ideas are, and maybe that'll inspire me to talk about my ideas, things like that. So, let's get right into your guys' comments. One more thing before we actually start. If I don't get to your comment, don't think it's a personal attack to you. It's just because there's so many comments, I don't want to get stuck on reading every single one, because then this video is going to be insanely long because I ramble. There's already not a script for this video because there can't be, because I'm reading your guys' comments unless I go through and prepare super in-depthly, which I'm not going to do. So we're just going to go through and have a on-the-spot conversation about your guys' comments. So first off, you've got Doom Noodle coming in with, I'd like to convert my D&D campaign into Dreams. It's a huge story with a badass villain and tons of encounters. Me and my player party have already played it for about 15 hours and we're only about 10% into the story. It will have a huge world with dozens of different locations where you can travel to and hundreds of different enemies to fight. I hope I can rely on other people's objects because I'd rather place them in a level than sculpt them. Really neat idea. I have a feeling a lot of people who play D&D would be into making this, in Dreams, a campaign in Dreams. I've played D&D a few times. I'm not hugely into it because I guess growing up I was never into that role-playing factor. So it's a little tough for me to get into it. Unless I'm playing with a lot of friends, then I guess I could probably do it. But I have a feeling that a lot of people will be doing something like this as far as D&D if they're that into it. And then the whole case about relying on other people's objects because you'd rather place them than sculpt them, that's a totally valid thing, because a lot of people, I feel like, will be just making stuff rather than making full games. I know a friend of mine who only wants to create objects and scenery. He's not really into making full-fledged games. So I think that'll definitely be an option, because I have a feeling that there'll be tons of people who can't fully make a game by themselves. And I think most games will be a collaborative project between people who've made certain things. So if I'm making a game, and I'll probably end up taking somebody's music and borrowing somebody's chair or something like that. Those are random examples, but I feel like that's going to be most games. I think it's going to be the hardest to have a full team of people creating one game without taking anything that somebody else has shared. Dark Void coming in with a comment, I'm going to make a lot of levels based on my comics where you play as my main character in an action-packed sci-fi comic. I also will work on building almost every day until I reach the highest level of building in my own way so you can be God-tier logic builder. Dark Void, you're always talking about how dope you are at building in a Little Big Planet. I can't wait to see what you make in Dreams. I'm definitely going to be following you. If there's a follow option in Dreams, which I think there is, I think there's like a social media-esque thing going on in Dreams where you could follow creators. I'm following you, man. I'm going to be watching. I'm just going to be waiting. You got to teach me your ways eventually. We'll get into all that when I have the Dreams cast. But that's cool what you're saying. Sci-fi comics. I'm huge into sci-fi. Sci-fi is definitely one of my favorite genres. So good luck with that. Good luck with all the stuff you have going on there. When you say comic, it kind of actually reminds me of something. When I was a kid, I was a huge fan of a game called Beautiful Joe, which had a comic-esque theme to graphics and stuff like that. It would be so cool. I just had an idea to kind of remake, not remake Beautiful Joe, but remake a game with that kind of aesthetic. I just got an idea, maybe. Anyways. Creatronic says, I'm going to see if I can build the most detailed car in existence and you'll be able to get in, out of it, and explore a massive city. That's pretty dope. Detailed car would be cool. Are you thinking VR? Because I know eventually you'll be able to make VR games in Dreams, as well as utilize VR in the creative process on Dreams. When you said in and out of it, I'm automatically thinking VR experience. I'm sitting in a crazy detailed car and I'm able to drive it and look like I'm driving it, and I'm able to stand up and walk around an actual massive city in VR. That would be really cool. You know, who knows how hard it'll be to create VR experiences, or how tough that's going to be, or whatever. Either way, your idea sounds pretty sweet, even if it's not VR. A lot of things with dreams, you know, funnily enough, if, let's say, something like that would come out now, where it's a VR game, you can walk around a city, it's not game-changing in games nowadays. But in dreams, being able to see other gamers make things like actual games in a game is going to be such a fantastic thing that even the simplest ideas, not saying your idea is simple, but even the simplest ideas for games are going to seem like they are just complete masteries because of the tools we're using. Even though the tools we're given are crazily, in depth and things like that, it's still going to be so cool just to see the simplest things, because we know that they're being created by other players. People who play games that we played against or played with are actually making their own games. So anything that actually comes out of a creator in some way, shape, or form is going to be really cool. And that's what I think is going to be awesome, because regularly, if I would have seen a game being sold that's like, you know, drive a super detailed car and explore a massive city, I'd be like, whatever, I'm not into that. But because it's being made by somebody who usually plays games and is not necessarily detailed as a creator or a developer, I'm already into it because I like witnessing what other people like me can actually do. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of confusing, but that's kind of my thought process on that. I don't know where that came from your comment, but we just got a great conversation out of that. But thank you for your comment, Creatronic. Kawaii Cowslayer says, I'm going to create scenes from the book I'm writing and try to create that dark atmosphere. I think it'll be really cool. Kawaii, awesome comment. Books. So that's a cool idea. A long time ago, here's a small fact about me. I wanted to write a book so bad, and I got into writing books, and I would get so far into writing what I wanted to be a book, and then I would just kind of reread it and hate it, and then give up. And that always happened. And I didn't even think about putting what I imagined a book into a dream. So that's really cool to think about now. It might be something I have to tinker around in my mind with later. But yeah, I have a feeling a lot of people will be doing this. Like, you know, they say you can make your own art in dreams. You can do this in dreams, music, whatever you want, you can make in dreams. And that's the same with, like, if you have a book idea. Think about putting a book idea into a dream, something you can actually see. Is really cool. So that's pretty sweet. And as far as a dark atmosphere, I really can't wait. This kind of brings not necessarily over to horror, but I can't wait to see what people do with horror in dreams, because I'm not into horror games at all, or horror movies. But to see a horror game in the aesthetic that Dreams has, I think will be super unique, and I can't wait for that. The same with dark atmospheres. Like games like Bloodborne. It's not really a horror game, but the atmosphere is so dark and creepy, I don't like playing it. But I can't wait to see what people come up with in Dreams with the aesthetic and like the painterly style that Dreams has, and how they interpret that and make that into something dark and creepy. So that'd be really cool. Fuzzy Duo. This is where we get even more meta than we already are. I want to make a game in dreams that give people the tools to build games within my game in that game. Wait, let me try that again. I want to make a game in dreams that gives people the tools to build games within my game in that game. So Dreams already lets you build a game within a game. He wants to build a game in a game that lets people build games. I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know if that's possible. But go ahead and try. I'm sure it is possible to make a game in a game that allows people to create maybe some kind of game. This is it's too much for me to handle, right? I had somebody else comment on another video who said they wanted to use Dreams to make a game that used procedural generation, but I know a lot of the tools that Dreams uses procedural generation. So basically, to be playing a game, making a game in a game that uses procedural generation to use procedural generation. It's too confusing. I don't know if that's going to be possible. You go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. And if it works, I'm going to play that game in a game in a game. And we're going to have fun. NKO says, I have a few ideas that will take a while to manifest, some of which I'll keep to myself so as not to ruin the surprise. NKO, that is exactly what I'm doing with the 3 game ideas I do have, trying to keep them as much to myself as I can. I don't want to ruin the surprise for people. I think they're going to be really cool, so I don't blame you there. He also says, I plan on building mid-sized level city I will let the style develop on its own, but I'm sure it'll end up quite stylized. Then I'll make all the doors work as level links to separate levels or building interiors. I'll also be creating characters, creatures, robots, etc. Also plan on creating working vehicles. Once the VR patch is installed, I'll be focusing mainly on VR content. I'm also looking forward to checking out the music creation tools as well. So that's a lot. That's a lot you're looking forward to there, which is basically what I'm looking forward to. The VR patch is definitely an interesting thing because I don't think I've ever thought about making a VR game. Like when I wanted to be a game designer, when I went to college for that, I thought of making games, but never thought of making VR games. I think because back then VR was just on the cusp of actually becoming a thing. And being released to the world. So VR is going to be interesting. Depending on how hard it is, I think it would be really cool to create your own VR experience, but I just don't know how it's going to work with Dreams, and I don't think anybody does at this point. Media Molecule says that Dreams with VR is fantastic, and they've said a bunch of things. Definitely with the creation tools in VR, I think one of the quotes was, it's really, really awesome to be able to make a world that to be able to walk around in a world that you've created, but it's even cooler to be inside that world as you're creating it, kind of like it would be with VR. So that's, sends chills down my spine, to be honest with you. To be able to create a game while you're standing in the game, to be able to create a world while you're standing in that world that you're creating is pretty sweet. But as far as a game goes, I can't wait to see what people do with VR and things like that. Now, you did talk about building a city, links to separate levels, building interiors. That's super cool. Building interior, I think, is going to be like interiors of rooms and things like that. I think will be super fun to mess around with, just interiors, because you can do anything with interiors, especially like sci-fi fantasy interiors. You can, it's basically, there's so much you can do with anything in this game. It's hard to really nail down and talk about a specific thing because all the branches of where you could go with anything is just completely infinite. So it's almost hard to really talk about one thing without getting distracted by almost everything else. And that's what happens when I'm reading these comments, so I apologize for that. But thank you for your comment, NKO. Phil Brush says, at the moment I want to create artworks, but I am sure that will change as I get inspired by other people's games, art, and objects, etc. I think that's 100% going to be almost my entire experience with Dreams, is that I have these ideas that I've been manifesting in my brain, I've been thinking about and things like that, and I think I'm going to go to create a lot of the stuff for these, and then I'm going to be seeing other people's work and playing other people's games and listening to music, and that's just going to inspire me to either change what I'm doing, alter what I'm doing, or completely sidetrack me into doing something else. And I think that's really cool because when you have this platform, which is basically what Dreams is an entire social media thing built in where you can follow people that follow creators that you like. It's this whole platform where you get to see what everybody's doing, what everybody's making. You get to witness all the things people are sharing. There's almost a constant new thing to see, a constant new idea that you can, perhaps have just by looking at something else or listening to somebody's music. So I think it's always going to be happening. Constantly, you're going to be seeing something and be like, wow, that's really cool. I want to make a different version of it, and maybe that'll become something else. You'll be inspired by your own work from that first work. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Mac for a day, thank you for your comment as always. You're always here, so thank you for that. Mac for a day says, I'm right there with you. Sick too. This was back when I was sick. I am feeling better. Hopefully you are. It's been a month, so if you're still sick, you need to find some help. Without giving out too many of my ideas, I mainly want to make survival horror games. I have one idea for a dark, spooky survival horror game, and also for a cartoony stylized survival horror game, similar to Hello Neighbor, but a much different premise. Hello Neighbor got super popular. I never played it myself, but I love watching people play it. Once again, it goes back to horror games. I've never been into horror games, but I'm super intrigued to see what people do in Dreams with horror. There's a lot of survival horror games that have been, coming out recently on Steam and things like that. I'm interested in your cartoony stylized one because I'm big into those kind of visuals because they're very unique, and a lot of people try to pull it off with games these days. Because it's such a different, a lot of people were stuck on like the reality. People want everything to look super real, especially when it comes to horror games most of the time, when you think of like the creepy stuff like that. So a cartoony stylized horror game, like you said, similar to Hello Neighbor, that'd be pretty sweet to see how you come up with something like that. I will definitely play it. That'd be something cool to like stream, a horror game through dreams. I think that'd be nice. Anyway, thank you for the comment. You are Godsmack. You want to make a pinball machine. That's such a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Either make just a pinball machine game. You know how they have all those games out that you don't ever see. You go to the PlayStation store and then it's like pinball this, pinball that, and they have all these cool pinball machines that you can play. That would be so cool to make your own pinball machine. That's awesome. And I think mechanic-wise, it wouldn't be super hard. Because there's just like moving parts. I don't know, maybe it'll be tough. I have no idea, but that would be super cool to make a pinball machine. I used to love playing the old pinball game on like Windows PC all the time. Wow. That brings me back. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty sweet. You are Godsmack. Thank you for the comment. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm just going to call you Red because that's the first 3 letters before I butcher everything. So, Red says he was thinking of a hack-and-slash game called Via Blood, loosely based on the world of Bloodborne. It would be an arcade-type horde game where you try and get the highest score with things like combos and stuff. Maybe it would be possible to get stage and character unlocks. Maybe I should start smaller. Haha. That sounds like a really cool idea. Now you're talking about, you say, arcade-type of horde game. So that's pretty sweet. When you say hack-and-slash, I immediately thought Diablo, or like Torchlight, things like that. Those were big hack and slash games I was into, but I guess those are loot-based hack and slash, which kind of brings me to another idea for a game that I had. I would love to make a hack and slash loot-based game. The fact that you say based on the world of Bloodborne, once again, that brings us back to Bloodborne. I was never a fan because of the creepy nature of it, but I think that's because it was just super creepy. If it was a hack and slash game, loosely based on the world of Bloodborne, like top-down and things like that, that would be sweet. Now, I love arcade games recently. I've been playing a few of them. I was playing a lot of bullet hell games. Another game that came out, Nex Machina, was an arcade game that recently came out. That was fantastic. So I think that'd be pretty sweet. I think a lot of arcade games where a lot of things are happening on screen at once would be really cool, especially in Dreams, because once again of the aesthetic. I think the aesthetic of Dreams is going to make a lot of game genres like super varied and different. So like when you make something like an arcade game, just the aesthetic of Dreams that has the painterly style and things like that, I think it'll make it so unique that people will be into it even though they're not necessarily into the genre of it, just because it looks nice. But yeah, I think that'd be cool. And on the basis of a hack and slash or a loot-based game, one of the coolest things that I'm very, very excited about, maybe not necessarily making a hack and slash game myself, but making loot. If I were to be able to just craft my own loot, things that people would use as like loot drops in games, would be so cool. To make my own swords, to make my own weapons that people, that you could pick up in games and let people use, that would be super sweet. I was always super into like weapon design and like swords and fantasy weapons and staves and things like that. I used to draw a lot of that when I was back in middle high school. I think that'd be sweet to like just be able to create the loot that people can then use in their own loot games. Chef Gino says he just wants to make simple environments to explore at the start, like hospitals, rooftops, jungles, caves. That's definitely a good idea, and I think a lot of people dream big right off the bat. I think when Dreams releases, honestly, I think people are going to be surprised at how long it's going to take them to make certain things. I think people kind of expect to go in and just be boom, 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 done. But I think it's going to take a lot longer. Yes, it is simplified, but that doesn't kind of take away from the time that you need to put into it. So I think that's kind of, everybody's saying, I want to make this game, I want to make this game, I want to make this game. The people, Media Molecule, who may, obviously created Dreams, just to make the campaign, they said it took months and months and months, right? So I think a lot of people are kind of expecting things to move by quickly. But I definitely do want to do environments. I'm hugely into, I think I've said this multiple times before, I'm hugely into like nature mixed with machinery, like robots or just something like that. I'm really big into those kind of environments. Horizon Zero Dawn is a very good example. Abzu was a very good example. There's a lot of good examples out there. Hob, which is another indie game by Runa Games. All those are super good examples. Environments where there's machinery and nature mixed together. Just those type of things would be really cool to make because I've really liked art that's kind of around that. There's a famous painter out there, I can't remember his name, who does things like that too. So I think environments will be a really good practice for people who want to make games because there's always environments no matter what game you're actually going to make. And I have another friend of mine who's super into just making environments, especially sci-fi environments. I would definitely be into that because I'm a big fan of No Man's Sky, obviously because of the channel. Making just a cool No Man's Sky-esque sci-fi environment would be really awesome too. And then to close off the comments, we've got Dubstep Dancer G28 coming in with not really a Dreams idea, but just awesome support. I can't wait for Dreams, bro. I'm going to be talking about it so more people can know about it. Hope you get better. Much love. Subbed and turned on notifications. Also liked, like always. Thank you very much, Dubstep. The support is unreal, man. The all caps. I hear you shouting into my brain. Thank you. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I think it's rambled on for like 30 minutes, so I do apologize for the length. And I'm not trying with these comments. I know it probably seems like it a bit. I take your comments and kind of like relate them to what I want to do rather than focusing on what you guys to do. I'm not trying to do that. It's just kind of how my brain works. I'm trying to expand on your guys' comment with ideas that I might think of, things that maybe you just made me think of with your comment. There's so much with Dreams, it's almost impossible to just kind of talk about it for 30 minutes, right? Like this video has gone on for. That's why the Dreams cast will be a thing where we could just talk about whatever Dreams related, no topics needed, just Dreams, your ideas, whatever it is. So if you haven't heard about the Dreams cast, it's going to be this kind of live show that I'm doing where you come on and just talk via Discord and we just chat about Dreams, what you want, and it'll be live streamed here on the channel. If you want a link to that Discord, the link will be in the description. Join it whenever you want. I'll chat with you guys in it. I've been away from it for a bit because I'm still trying to plan and make everything how it works. I think I have everything set up. I just have to kind of make a date for it. So if you want to be a part of that, a part of the conversation, you could always join through Discord. You could be a part of the chat on YouTube when I actually stream it. It's going to be fun, so that'll give us a lot of time and just one kind of show to just talk non-scripted, non-really, focus-based, just about Dreams in general. So I can't wait to start that. But thank you guys for the comments. Very, very cool. I do apologize that this video took a month to come out, but at least I got it done. I got it out. So we might do another one of these in the future when we get closer, maybe to a beta release or whatever, who knows. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up for me. Subscribe for more Dreams, news, gameplay, and coverage. My name has been JustJarrod. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day. Peace out.